We're just about to get started, Fam Bam, and hopefully you've had a wonderful evening or day so far. This is Chris Muzo here. I love to talk about PC and tech, and hopefully you are just as enthused about everything that is going on currently with the PC community. If you're thinking about doing a PC build, I have to say, just go for it. Go for the PC build because, I mean, things are just getting quite interesting. You have a lot of these fabs that are coming out with new technologies that they are getting very competitive with, especially when it comes to Intel and TSMC currently. TSMC has their new 1.4 millimeter nodes that they want to unveil and currently are producing, and Intel wants to double up and use the investment that NVIDIA has invested into the company plus SoftBank with another type of machine that will help them compete with something help them compete against TSMC. But again, due time, we'll see how well that's going to go. So I'd like to welcome everybody who is just coming in, and if you have any hardware questions when it comes to PCs and tech, feel free to ask. Feel free to talk in the chat, and I will certainly respond. Now, what's up, Wasabi? Good to see you. And let me just you know what's funny? When I originally connected this whole stream element, seems like this whole new OBS update kind of like threw everything off here. So I just got to resync the social chat so everyone can see everybody here, and I think we'll be good in just a second. There we go. Select live sources, and I think we should be pretty much good. There we go. Perfect. Think we're good. Let me know if the stream's doing okay, because yeah, it was a bit odd when I originally created the stream. I already obviously pre-created it when it came to YouTube, but it seems that the Stream Elements wants to keep creating a new stream for some odd reason. So I had to kind of reset all the parameters. It probably confused everybody, especially on Discord, because it just like pops out with the original one, and now it gives you a whole different stream. So that's a bug that certainly has to be fixed. Something that definitely has to be brought up to the attention of Stream Elements. But good to see you, Wasabi. Yes, exactly. That's the only problem. Anytime you mess with OBS, especially with their new update, hopefully you guys, if you guys use OBS, they have a new update that actually takes advantage of the RTX settings for your GPU, which is pretty amazing. You could actually have practically a green screen without having one. What's up, enthusiast? Hopefully you've been doing well. I'm excited for your build though, Wasabi. I gotta say, even though you're getting the Black Gigabyte WindForce, I think that's still gonna look decent. And Ricky, I bet's going to appreciate that RTX 5070 Ti currently, because now he can take advantage of those RTX capabilities. But unfortunately, he's been in lockdown. We're on lockdown for quite a bit with his girlfriend, so we haven't seen him out in daylight. This is like what, probably like day 6 or day 7 he's been locked down. What's up, Takuma? Good to see you. What's up, Dare D? I'm glad to see everybody coming in. I gotta say, who's excited for these new PC cases? I definitely am. Definitely one of these cases has to go on this brand new stealth build. I gotta get in contact with the brands currently, because I'm waiting on tracking numbers, and we are still going to do this Project Ninja. But I gotta figure out what is going on. They're taking so long. I'm getting impatient to the point where I'm like, you know what? I kind of just want to get my own parts and get this build ready to go. But Height and Corsair both came out with 2 different cases, and there's like some pretty decent monitors that got released. But again, these are more like for if you want to kind of stand outish. I haven't quite heard of this brand before, but I should have. I think I retweeted it. I'll double check, but I'll definitely share it with you guys. But both Corsair, they came out with their triple chambered PC case, which is really amazing. You get a ton of airflow, and it is also BTF compatible for those who do want to do a build where you don't have all the connectors into the front of the board and they're all on the back. So yes, the Corsair 4500X Now, let's take a look at this beauty. I mean, it is just gorgeous. In fact, we could actually go into this. You know what? I probably have to go into the browser side first, because if I go into Discord, into OBS, it's going to end up kicking me to the browser side. So we'll just go, because thanks to Takuma, he actually sent one over into the PC hardware space. And this is exactly it right here. Let's see. Let me bring it up, and I'm gonna switch it up for you guys so you guys can see it here. And we will go to the shared browser. But this is it right here. And I'll go back to the beginning so you guys can see it. There you go. It's quite a beauty, right? I know it's like kind of like, oh, I gotta move it on the short side. Apologize for these short guys over there. But take a look at that beauty. It's officially released. Some of the press already received it. That was like a little snip of it, but we can go a little bit further and check it out. It's actually going to be here up on Twitter here, which I will share with you guys, or on X. And what's up, Eric's? What's up, Pato? Before you get excited, my white build, let me upgrade my current one. I still have the motherboard, RAM, and the 9800 X3D still sealed, collecting dust, looking at me. Oh, that's hilarious. But that's the thing. I still got that Gigabyte Z890 that's just like sitting in the back. I know it's dying to be used. And I'm waiting for Intel to come out with these refreshes already and just name them, because it's already October. Take a look at this. We got the PlayStation event coming on, and it looks like they released this. They finally released Wolverine. Okay, that's breaking. I didn't get to see that yet, but that's pretty insane. Let me put up the chat for you guys up here, because for some reason it's not missing for you guys. Let me just bring it up there and unlock it. Oh, for some reason it ended up all the way down there, but here you go, guys. Right there. Perfect. It's kind of very similar to the Vantex MV7, but the glass panel is only point that is curved. Oh, really? Because this is what makes it really interesting. It's just like what Takuma says. And let's go further down. It is right down here. This is the height one. Let's take a look at this, because this is the first thing that came up. What do you guys think of this one here? This one looks pretty impressive too, right? It seems like we're going into like a more roundish design. Let me shrink this down. I know it's a little bit large and hefty right now. Let's see. There we go. What do you guys think of that right now? It's pretty nice looking, right? It's almost like, it kind of gives like almost like that 50-ish roundish vibe, but it's like almost like retro tech. There, D, time to move to Steam. Absolutely. Hey guys, I'm getting my first gaming PC Friday. Do I still need Xbox Game Pass? Just use Steam. To be honest, Steam is definitely the better way to go. If you get Game Pass, this is, okay, so this is from what I've heard. I've learned a little bit more about it if you do decide to keep Game Pass. Now, if you do keep Game Pass and you still have your Xbox already, or if you're planning to get rid of it, I would just say get rid of Game Pass, definitely. But if you're not, and you want to be able to use your Xbox and your PC, I know if you pay $5 more for the Game Pass Ultimate, you'll be able to use it for both Xbox and PC. So I think it's like something like $20 a month. Or just go ahead and just use that extra money just to go ahead and do some purchases on Steam. But I would definitely say, but personally, most PC gamers, and including I, will tell you that Game Pass, we don't even use it. We don't even think about using it. We just prefer to use Steam. Doesn't it? It looks a bit retrospect. It looks pretty amazing, I have to say. I do like the thought process of this case. Now, when we go to Corsairs, it's funny because it's rounded design too, but it's going to be slightly different. Like here it is right here. This is how it looks like. And let's see if we could get some better photos here of the Corsair 4500X here, because I know Corsair It was on their press release, and I know they're going to be pushing it on their page. Here it is. This is another one here. Pretty much the same thing, same idea. Kind of like the same video that we saw earlier. Not bad at all. And then they also released this mouse too, which is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be lagless practically. So how do you think NVIDIA and Intel's partnership will play out? That's actually a awesome question here. And let me bring that up here. Let me bring up the featured chat because for some reason it has you all the way hidden there. But I'll bring it up so everybody else can see it. But so enthusiastic guy asked about the whole NVIDIA and Intel partnership. It's going to be very interesting, I gotta say, for the most part. They obviously got a contract together, and it seems that Intel, I just mentioned this earlier, it seems that they already are spending some money on extra machines practically. In fact, I just had the article up here. It's actually WCCF actually produced this article, and they're actually looking, as hopefully you guys can see that one. It's going to be, I'll actually paste it over so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at here. So this is what they're doing currently. They're already spending the money on more tech. And this type of machine is not cheap. So they're planning to build these next gen nodes, which is supposed to compete with TSMC. Now with these next gen nodes, you're talking about they're spending millions of dollars for this. And that's how much confidence that they have in these new nodes that they are going to create that's supposed to be competitive against a 1.4 nanometer node. Now, let's see if Intel really does pull this, because they're already using a lot of their investment money on purchasing and to increase their orders because they're expecting to sell a lot of these. Now, the bad part is if they don't do this well, it's not going to look good for this whole NVIDIA and Intel partnership. NVIDIA is really looking for Intel to increase their server bases, and Intel will still continue to have their integrated, their own ARC, their integrated ARC GPUs practically. And NVIDIA and Intel do want to create a SoC, but that's going to be more on the laptop base side. It's not, we probably won't see anything on the desktop side, to be honest. It's going to be much more laptop and handheld focused. And again, it depends on how well their partnership comes out with this whole SoC, if they can make it really work well. Now, if it's successful, it can compete against something like the ARM SoC. And that's the one that they're really trying to go after, is compete against them. And poor Snapdragon. It's funny because Snapdragon, right? Snapdragon announced that they're going to come out with the Elite 2. Now, some of you guys are like, what the hell is Snapdragon? Well, Snapdragon is Qualcomm's version, and if you're familiar with, say, Samsung phones, a lot of Samsung phones and a lot of Android devices uses Snapdragon processors. So what they wanted to do originally, actually, it was last year when they first started producing these Snapdragon processors, or these SoCs, which are supposed to be practically like ARM. And they were supposed to compete against the M1 from Apple. But unfortunately, it seems like they were kind of cut a bit short because they didn't really have as much compatibility. A lot of compatibility issues with it. And that's something Intel and NVIDIA could easily bypass, because they're going to have the technology to be able to match up with other softwares. So that's certainly an advantage that they can take advantage of. And another important puzzle when it comes to this is the whole efficiency and power. If they can combine those two together, they can make a decent team, to be honest. But I do not think that this partnership is going to be long term. I think it's going to end up probably being like more of a short term partnership, especially if NVIDIA gets what they want, the architecture for x86, or try to sneak some x64 so that way they can create some processors. But that would be pretty funny if they did go after that market, because they're not too far off from it. So hopefully that answers that question. I really like the Arctic extender. Take a look at it. Sure, definitely we'll take a look at it, Tony. Thanks for the info. I have the 2500X. What are some budget reverse blade fans that you recommend pairing with the Lian Li 011 Compact? I'll get right back to you, Pat. Eric's, because we'll take a look at that Arctic extender before we continue down here. Bye, Chris and Jeff. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I apologize for all the Europeans out there. I know it can be pretty late around your at your region. It's probably like 12 at midnight already. But I do appreciate you guys popping in. So we'll go ahead and go take a look at that Arctic case. I bet it's beautiful. So Arctic extender. Let me see. Let's take a look at this case here. I'm already liking the look of it. I can already kind of see a preview of it. And they have, it looks like they have 3 different colors. Or even more. They have 3. So they got the extender black, then they have extender white, and the mirror black. Mirror black's kind of sick. It's like almost like a chrome look to it. Normally I don't like fish tanks, but I really like that one. Yeah, it's definitely a bit different, I gotta say. It definitely sticks out a bit. Now this is actually pretty decent. Most of those like fish tank type of cases that you usually see, they're usually kind of like wrap. It's more glass than anything, but this one kind of has like an even keel mix. It's almost like, it's more like around like I would say like about at least 30%. And when you take a look at a lot of these other type of like fish tank type of cases, it's more like only like 20%, but 30% of the chassis you can actually see it, which makes it stick out a bit more and stand offish. But that is nice though, 3D model wise. Let's see if it pops up here. There we go. Yeah, 3. So if you're working on something like this, let me just move this up chat for you guys so you guys can see it better. And so if you're working on something like this, you can pop off the front case, the front glass, front panel, and the side. Or it might just be one piece, but I bet it's 2 from looking at it. So it's these 2 pieces of glass that you can usually take apart, and from here it's pretty much easy to work onto the panel. Because when you're looking at it, it's built for EATX, so you can have one of those larger motherboards that you can take advantage of and certainly be able to install it on this. It gives you a lot of room. Power supply is going to obviously sit under here, and it looks like it fits at 360. Yeah, 360 fans, 360 millimeters up of fans, and the same when it comes to the side panel port. And this is what makes it different too. You can actually fit 2 case fans into the back of it, and that's actually a pretty decent place where you can actually install like exhaust fans to where you don't have to put reverse fans. But if you put reverse fans like around here, it definitely look decent. So it can support up to 2 420 AIO. You don't need the bottom fans. Yeah, honestly, like when it comes to the bottom fans, they wouldn't be as necessary, because the thing about bottom fans, it seems like that's kind of like going away. And the reason why they don't really have bottom fans as often is because one of the main culprits, especially for those who say sit their PC like on the floor or even just sitting it on the table, it's very easy for it to collect dust because it's like right under there. And all that, for some reason, as you know, everything that gets attracted to dust are areas to where there's something sitting there. So you know it's going to collectively catch dust, or like say pet hair if you have a cat or if you have a dog. It's a bit more maintenance when you do have a PC with bottom fans. Of course, you have filters and everything now, but if you don't have that component, you don't have those extra fans on the bottom, certainly not necessary to throw on. So to answer the reverse fans, to be honest, with reverse fans, some cheaper ones, I would say you could probably get some Thermaltake ones. Thermaltakes aren't that badly priced. They're pretty good, actually. You can take a look at Thermaltake. And what else I would say? Thermaltake has them, and let me see. I would say that's probably the best option if you're looking for affordability. And I'm pretty sure Cooler Master would have some too, if you're trying to look for a pretty decent brand. If you're looking for more higher tier brands, they definitely do exist, but I'm thinking of a lot more of the lower tier ones. But I would look between those two. Oh, and also Fantex would actually be pretty decent too. Speaking of which, because we were just speaking of Fantex. But yeah, when it comes to cases, you don't really need something like bottom fans. This is kind of more of like the up-to-date, more modern PC case that is out now. Jonesbow fans. Ah, interesting. Let me take a look at those because I haven't seen those. Jonesbow. Because honestly, it's just a fan. The most important aspect is when it comes to fans, it just has to have hydraulic bearings in there because then it's less likely to fail. Most of them do now, and usually they're a lot cheaper. But Jonesbow, I never took a look at them, so this is definitely a good mention by Takuma, and this would certainly fit your needs. I really like the design of it. It kind of gives you that. It reminds me a lot of like how Lian Li does their fans almost. Jonesbow Z8 360. Let's see. Or Johnsbow. Is it Johnsbow? Okay, let's look for the 360. Right here, 360. ZC, and here it is. The Z, this is both ZC, ZA, ZA. 420. I bet. Let's see. It's probably further down. This is ZB. ZA. I know we're getting close here. ZA. They got the 420. 420, 420, 140, 140, 140. Oh, there you go. The 360B. ZA360B they got. This might be the version that where they changed it up here. But yeah, this is definitely a great option here. And these are reverse fans too, I would think, right? Let's see. So voltage, noise level, current, input, speed, airflow, static, features. We'll go to the spec side once again. And is it? And these are reverse fans, Takuma, just to make sure. Because I know that's what they were looking for here. Kind of hard to tell from the picture itself. But from what it looks like, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. From that direction, it looks like it. But yeah, if you get reverse fans, this would probably be a decent option. And especially for, I haven't used them, but if Takuma says it's great, I would definitely give it a shot. Also, take a look at Cooler Master. Cooler Master has some really decent ones, which I could definitely share with you in a bit. And what was the other one? Fantex is pretty decent too as well. I'll show you, in fact, and which we can go into the browser. Right here. I know these are, let's see, vertical. Oh, apologize for that. There we go. I like that they are one frame, not like Fantex D30. That you must assemble it, and yes, Jonesbow has reverse option. Okay, awesome. Yeah, it kind of Takuma definitely has some has great knowledge too as well when it comes to PC components, and because this is the other one I was thinking of. But if it's better than the D30, yeah, definitely take advantage of it, because this one's not a bad choice either. Because you don't have those magnetic fans to where you can actually connect them together. Which makes it way more easier. I mean, they do, but from what he's saying, it's going to be a lot easier on the install side if you go with Jonesbo. But makes me curious. Definitely want to check them out. And let's go back to here. Let's get back to just chatting. So when it comes to the hardware space, we're all obviously waiting for Intel to release their new processors, which I'm pretty curious about. They haven't really announced anything officially. All we know is that it seems that they're really focused on getting their shipments up and getting a lot more production done. TSMC is certainly getting putting their work in, so they're getting ready for the kick into high gear to compete against Intel. And now you also got something like I don't know if you guys heard or not, but when it comes to the RAM modules, they are also going to go up in price. And originally it was just going to be based on DDR4 and LPDDR4 and RAM such as those in that generation. But now it seems like it's going to leak a little bit over into DDR5. It's going to go up in price a bit. And same thing when it comes to LPDDR5. It may even affect G7 or G6 when it comes to the memory side, when it comes to the GPUs. But again, this will all depend in time. I know right now, just like NVIDIA currently, that like Samsung and a lot of these other manufacturers like Hynix, they're all focused into trying to create more server type of RAM because they feel like the desktop market has went down slightly, so they're more focused onto the server side because of their focus is again on big tech, which is going to be like large AI models and LLMs. So I like that they're so when are you going to take us to Micro Center with the yes, I will certainly do that. That is going to happen very soon because we got to do Project Ninja, Tony. So we'll test it out. We'll see if this phone does end up heating. Maybe perhaps Ricky will end up going into the trip, or we'll see who decides to go this time. But for sure, we'll definitely do a Micro Center trip, and because we got to get another PC built sometime soon. So let's see. Okay, so yes, so that makes perfect sense. So I'll highlight that just for what was it that asked? I apologize, I missed your name up there. But Takuma has shared some detail that Project Wood is needed. You hear that, guys? Who's ready? Who wants to get ready for Project Wood? Project Wood. So we just need to get some. We just got to get some fresh oaks, right? Find a fresh oak tree. In fact, since we're in Florida here, we could find some nice coconut trees that are down and do like maybe like a tropical vibe type of PC build where it's just like it makes you feel like you're sitting right by the ocean, you know? So we could do something like that, give it a nice little, like the case of the PC could be like a coconut shell maybe, or like some fresh coconut wood, so it gives that nice like that sweet smell. So you're just, so when you're in the middle of a game, you're like, yeah, nah, I could really go for some yeah, I could really go for some coconut wood or some coconut juice with this. What's up, Vero? Good to see you. And glad to see you guys. So the crazy thing is, not only have we that side, like when it comes to the processor and the RAM side, how that side's going up, the positive news and the light. It's also in the description box for anybody out there who is still trying to get a GPU or going for a PC build. I have to say the first biggest deal is the 9800X3D has went down drastically in price. You can currently get it for a great deal. I believe it's around like $420 about USD if you are getting the processor. And they got this combo where if you get the B650 and the 9800X3D, it's only like $629 if you get those two together. and you can already have like most of the PC build there. That's like the main component you need. They have that, and graphics card has been dropping down drastically. PNY also has their RTX 5090 for only under $2,000 finally. So a lot of these 5090s are starting to drop down in price. So if anyone's looking for one, they are dropping. It's just we've been all waiting for this, and it finally seems like the market's calming down. So if anybody's holding onto an RTX 4090, it's probably a good idea to either build with it or get rid of it as soon as you can before it drops even further in value. So TSMC is just about to build a giant new plant in Arizona. Yes, TSMC does plan on expanding more. I think their goal when it comes to building these plants, I think they wanted to build up to 5 plants into Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Because TSMC already has a plant there. This would be, I believe, their second plant. Or no, I think it's 3 plants. I'm thinking of Samsung. They want to build up to 5 plants, but they're going to be more all over the place. Samsung also wants to build one in Arizona. They want to build in Texas. And I think the other one's going to be somewhere up of north of US, like somewhere like, I think I would like to say like Chicago, like around that area, like the Midwest. Does your Ors Master make any weird noises when stopping at 0 RPM? No, not at all. It's actually on now, and I haven't experienced any noises. I know Takuma also has the same thing. He also has a RTX 5090 Ors Master, and I'm pretty sure he can tell you the same. So far, we haven't experienced any like real noises. It's actually a really nice, quiet card for the most part. You might hear it kick on like the fans, most of all, like if you're in gaming or something. But again, that's temporary. It's definitely more quiet, I would say, even more than my RTX 4090 WindForce. So, if anything, too. Also, make sure to check for updates for your RTX 5090. Gigabyte has their own control center. It's good to update their firmware for their GPU as well, as that can also affect like a possible noise factors, like what if you're describing, if you have any, or if you're just want to get a feel of what to know about the card. Oh, awesome! I can't wait for you to get it. Yes, Takuma also agrees. I kind of figured that too because, it's running right now and it's like you can't really hear anything. It's just like you don't even hear that it's on. It's silent. You're going to love it though, for the most part. And Takuma, I'm excited for him too because he's actually going to get, he's possibly going to get it, is the RTX 4090 Astral to kind of compare. He would also be great to ask because I remember Vero, he came into the chat before and he was curious about like if it was really worth getting the Astral over the RTX 5090. But especially for the usage, I feel that the RTX 5090 for Gigabyte's Ors Master will certainly suffice and fit the needs that you're looking for. You're going to love it though. So Noctua needs to come back to do a collab and make a Noctua. They actually do. They have one, but it's not the RTX 5090. They did it with ASUS, and the collab that they currently have with them is the RTX 5080. I think they did the 5072 if I'm not mistaken. We'll definitely look that up. But I know that they worked with them together. Yeah, it would be really nice to get a white one. Yeah, that's another thing that was really tempting. Instead of doing Project Ninja, go like all white. But that kind of defeats the purpose of having a stealth build. But you know what would be nice actually? Speaking of stealth, because Gigabyte's version of stealth, like BTF, like ASUS, like when it comes to their PC components, everything's onto the back of everything. So for Gigabyte's line, theirs is called stealth. Can you imagine doing like all white stealth build? Now that is something to think about. Maybe that's what we can do the next build, you know? But let's take a look at the RTX 5080 Noctua. It looks just like this. Oh, I gotta get rid of, I don't know why that's on my list there, but there you go. Now we can stay here. Quietest card in its class. Man, I don't like the rocks in the back. You know what it really needs? It needs to have like, this card needs to have like a oak forest or something behind it. Because that's what's in right now. It's wood. It's all wood. So, Project Ninja equals all black Noctua build with a black GPU. I agree. We say all Noctua fans have to be all black. And the GPU, like maybe, I'm sure Gigabyte has one. Or ASUS or any. I know for sure MSI's is the Shadow, where it's all blacked out practically. Or you could do yes, the wood, Project Wood. It's gonna be called. Should it be called Project Oak? Project Coconut. And get this, like when it turns on, you know what we have to have. So when it turns on, like when we build this PC, we build this wood PC. As soon as we go into a stream, we'll test stream it, and for the background sound, we'll have some forest sounds. You know, once the PC starts up for the ambience. So this has a optimized vapor chamber, and I know for sure this has to be nice and quiet. It has a dual BIOS, which is definitely a great advantage for anybody out there who likes to flash BIOSes, but for NVIDIA, it's not as necessary. You do have people that are really OCD about it and like really wants to tweak it. You would need a fire extinguisher nearby. It has to be. Let me see. Look, it's a good thing that we can get sand. We can just like fill it up with sand and cover it. Can you imagine that? But there's a decent guy I do know. He builds these wood cases, and they are legit though. I have to say his wood cases are legit. But if we do something like a coconut build here, right? Project Coconut, it's got to be a Noctua. Has to be Noctua, because I mean, look at the color right there. Phantom. Project Ninja could have GameWords RTX 5090 Phoenix card. That's true. That's actually a pretty decent idea. Which GameWords RTX 5090? Yeah. Yeah, good luck with it. Yeah. That's why you have to get a kind of wood where termites. How about this? We're gonna look this up real quick. What kind of wood do termites don't? What kind of wood do termites not like to eat? So you know what we have to do right there? That's our answer. Via Google, it says that we have to make sure that it's naturally resistant wood like cedar, redwood, teak, cypress. Oh, perfect. Florida, we have a lot of cypress trees. So that's where we can start off with, is a nice cypress tree. So let's take a look at that. A cypress tree to get started on this build. Let me see. I'll show you. Looks something like this. Project. There you go. So it's more like this. This is like the type of cypress trees that we got here. So maybe we could start with a project like that. Find some. I can see why they don't like it. I hope it doesn't. I'm gonna have to find some like dead cypress trees around, and then if we do find it, I'll contact my guy and be like, hey, how about we do a cypress project cypress? It's and the way you can sell it is that you don't have to worry about termites if you build a PC just as this. Chris, I won't let this until okay. Yeah, all right. Well, okay. Well, this will be very interesting. I gotta say, if this does happen, this would be pretty hilarious for the most part. We gotta make sure. You know what? I should email. Okay. Tell me this. Tell me this. How you guys think of this? So, since Noctua is like one of the better matches out there, we could actually email Noctua like a formal letter. No, no, not even a letter. We could send them. We could send them like a regular email, right? And with the regular email, I'll have like a nice high res HDR photo of a cypress tree. So of course Noctua is gonna be like, "What the hell is this? Like, why is this guy sending me a cypress tree?" And then we tell them about Project Cypress. Maybe they'll hop on board. We just tell them that this is actually one of the best trees where we found out that termites don't like to are attracted, and in fact you'll attract all the guys who prefer, like, say the wood keyboards and the wood mouses, so that way they can have a nice like whiskey and cigar, look at their nice cypress PC and just take the fresh air and be like, feels so great. I feel like I'm in the outdoors. Termite resistance. Yeah, exactly. The cypress tree roots look like a crazy leaf case. So can you imagine like how the wiring would be? Like how would the design be? I'm curious. Now it's piquing my curiosity to look up if anybody has even attempted something like this. Let's see. The closest thing. All right, so let's go here. And okay, they have this thing called Okinos, and let's take a look. It's absolutely, it's environmentally friendly. Let's go here. Let's go. So it seems that they have this called the Okino shop. I put cypress tree, and this is what popped up. And that's a bit more. Not really a true cypress tree there. So let's take a look at Reddit, because sometimes Reddit posts can really be hilarious. What do you guys think of this? The little wood grain panel there. Would you guys ever get a PC like this, like the wood grain panel onto the side? Hey, and you get the nice little. Could you imagine, like, you even custom made, like, technically, like, if you really wanted to, it would be like really expensive, more than likely, to do something like that, which is if you create like the PC case fans with wood, like you actually get them to carve it out of wood, they want to ask you for okay, Project Cypress, seems like nobody's done it. Look up Antec Flux Pro. Sure thing. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, nobody's done it. Micro Center actually has one. Let me see real quick. The Okinos Cypress 7 tempered glass genuine walnut wood ATX mid tower case. 0 in stock. So it's a hot commodity, or they just don't stock it in the store. All right, so let's look up this Antec case real quick. Antec Flux Pro. And, that's an interesting looking case. Premium wood. There you go. A mix of modern and nature. Tool-free design. So it has a bit of wood grain there. So this one actually has the bottom case fans in there too. See, the good thing about cases like this too, it's very easy to really customize it exactly how you want it. And you get up to 420 millimeters. That's actually not too bad. I'm curious. Let's go into the gallery real quick. Okay. How are you guys feeling about this case? That's a very interesting look. And let me go back here real quick. Oh, let's go back to try to really find a Cypress PC case. Real wood. Let's see. I will do. I will need to. You know what? If this happens, I actually know a guy. What's his name? Let me see. I'll actually have to share with you guys. Let me see if I can find him real quick. I'll get in contact with the guy I know. Let's see. He's actually pretty. He's a cool guy though. Really cool guy. He does actually PC builds and everything. And all of his cases, they're all from. Let me see. Let me log in here. All his PC cases, he builds them straight out of wood. Okay. You need to go and farm the cypress yourself. You know what? That would make an excellent stream, right? Set the camera, start to find a good, decent cypress farm where I can axe it down. There we go. Sign in. There we go. Just about to sign in, guys. And so that way you guys can see it. And let me go here. There you go. His name's JB Builds. He's a pretty cool guy. And he does a lot of PC wood builds. They're actually not too bad, actually. Take a look. Right there. That's his collection that he does. What do you guys feel about that? Nice wood grain. So I need to get in contact with him. I got to get in contact with JB and say hey JB, can you do us a favor and get us started on Project Cypress? Right, here you go. A full, nice wood grain. There you go. How you guys think of that? But I gotta be real careful with the music choice because I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube. But he's done a lot. He does a lot of custom wood builds just like this. So he would be definitely the guy I gotta get in reach with. Do a collab with him. What do you think? What do you? Wood motherboard board heat sinks. Wooden CPU, wooden frame. Wood everything. that would be something. So not only would we have to get in contact with JB, but we would have to get in contact with all the manufacturers. Get in contact with Nitro, ASUS, Corsair, get them all on board for a straight wooden project. You would have no idea that it's a PC. But I gotta say, that would be pretty interesting though, for the most part, if that were to come to life there. Now, let me get back. All right, let's get back on the subject real quick because it's quite interesting, I gotta say. And for anybody out there that's ever thought about getting a Nintendo Switch 2, I do have to forewarn you, or let everybody know out there who was thinking of getting a Nintendo Switch 2 and was hoping to play games like Borderlands 4 on it. Unfortunately, you will not be able to play. It's been suspended indefinitely, so we're not sure when it's going to actually happen. If Borderlands 4 will happen, but to no surprise here, that there is some compatibility issues when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. No, go back to Project Cypress. Well, don't go too much. Don't get too much. It would be pretty funny though, like if that actually happened, right? Now, so there's a lot of issues when it comes to Borderlands 4. Silent Hill is also having issues specifically to when it comes to pre-compiling shaders. Apparently, the issue is that they don't pre-compile everything. Instead, they render in real time practically. So if you're playing that game, you're playing Silent Hill, that everything is going to take a bit of time to kind of render through, including all the different shaders. So it's not going to look the greatest. So you've probably seen it in some games already, to where when you are playing a game, you get a message saying that it has a pre-compiled shaders. And if you don't, have you ever went into it anyway and said, you know what, I'll just do this later? Because most of the time when you do, you'll notice that all this, when the shaders are missing, it kind of looks really blocky, it looks really ugly. So that's how the game is. It's going to be like that, but except it's going to render in real time. So if you don't really have a fast GPU, it's going to take a little bit, especially if the resolution you set is really high on something like Silent Hill. So what graphics card does the Switch 2 have? The graphics card the Switch 2 actually has is it's the 3050. It's a 3050, but it's downgraded. It's the Turing version, and it's not the greatest. It does have ray tracing capability, but you don't expect amazing graphics out of it. It's a decent SoC, but it's not going to do anything mind-boggling. There's a lot of games out there that's unable to push further because the SoC is so limited when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. But what is going to be more interesting is once these other handhelds are released. I'm excited to do a handheld that's going to be coming up. We're going to be testing one soon, and it's going to contain the Z2 Extreme. I would love to compare it next to the ASUS ROG Ally, the Z1 Extreme, and see how much of a difference it is via benchmarks. It does have a bit more RAM on the other handheld, I believe. I have to double check it. I think it does. I'm pretty sure it's at like 24 gigabytes of DDR5. So it has a bit more. 1 terabyte SSD, I think, comes with it and everything. OLED display, and we'll see how well it does. So loading the shaders every game new after installing, yeah, that's like really common. Like if you ever notice, if you install a new driver, it happens every time. It's going to install the shaders. It takes some time to compile it, but depending on how fast your card is, the faster it'll actually load the shaders. If you have a bit of a slower card, it takes a bit more time. Like if I were to compare, like say, the speed of which would be unfair, I gotta say, the most part is if you compare something like a 9070 XT to say like NVIDIA's RTX 5090, you will notice quite the difference in speed when it does pre-compile all the shaders in a game. So for the most part, I have to say that's the biggest concern, that and optimization. Now, Unreal Engine does have a new version coming out, which is going to be Unreal Engine 5.7. 5.7 is supposed to be a lot more improved. It's supposed to have better like 3D rendering, better 3D models. It's supposed to be better when it comes to the like foliage, when it comes to like leaves on trees, and it's supposed to be better in all these aspects. But many people are going to feel like that these developers aren't going to utilize it. Instead, they're just going to stick to what they have, which is going to be just like Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine 5.1. So, loading. So another thing too, I do have to say, and which is also interesting, is I think it is Micron. They came out with a newer type of G7 where it can go up to 40 gigabits. I mean, not 40 gigabytes compared to the traditional 28 gigabytes per speed when it comes to, like, say, the RTX 5090. So they're currently coming out with something like this, and but they're building it more focused for like the data centers when it comes to more of the AI side. So they do have faster ones coming out, and the new one, I think it's called HMB4, which is going to be almost like nearly twice as fast. It's insanely quick. I think it's like 2.5 terabytes, about something like that, like altogether. Anyway, but it's incredibly quick, and if they were to come out with something like that graphically, I could see NVIDIA wanting to partner with them for that. But I do know that they do partner together a lot when it comes to the data centers. But that's where their main focus is going to really be, is honestly the data centers. They want to really push the whole this whole AI, their AI centers. So that is what's currently happening with like the PC side. Of course, you got the PC cases that are being released. I believe that there's a new headset that has been released by Be Quiet, which looks pretty decent in the gaming side. It looks quite nice, and it seems like, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but it seems like a lot of the developers out there, like whether if it's it seemed like it started like with Razer. I know Corsair's done it. I know like SteelSeries has it too, where they have their chairs, like when it comes to their PC gaming chairs. I know Logitech has their own version, but I've seen other ones hop on. I seen ASUS even came out with one. I know Razer's on it now, but it seems like every manufacturer has their version of a gaming chair. So yeah, that's the crazy part. I read we already have PCI Express 8. Yeah, without a doubt, I could see them having it already, because I know for sure they already use like PCI Express 6, like in a lot of like the server type of areas. It's just not ready for use for consumers. But that's pretty crazy. I could believe that, because I remember technology does evolve pretty quickly. Because I remember talking about PCI Express 7 not that long ago, and they're already on 8. But unfortunately, we're probably not going to see any of that. And I don't think anybody really wants to see the next generation of PCI Express just yet. But when it does happen, I'm curious to see if they would push it onto the new AMD boards, or if they push it into the next generation Intel boards. Because I know for sure that they, of course, have DDR6. And when DDR6 is unveiled, you can imagine how quite expensive it's going to be. Because if you guys remember, when they released DDR5 originally, it was really hard to get your hands on one. There was people selling them for like well over $1,000 on eBay. Yes, yeah. It's just insane when it comes to that side. Also, let's get back into this real quick, because not only on, there was something else I wanted to bring up to you guys, which is also interesting. This is, I gotta say, I'm quite frankly surprised about this. I'm surprised that they are honestly still producing. Let me see. Did it come up? Nope. Let me bring it up here. I think I gotta go here. There you go. I'll copy it over. And let me see. Which is this. Which is AMD's 5100. Insane, right? So they already have 4 cores and 8 threads. The difference in this is it's just going to be the speed difference. It's just going to be less gigahertz compared to, I think it's the 5300 that also is 4 cores and 8 threads. But some of you might be thinking already, like, what's the point of it? And I feel like it's kind of a waste to kind of produce these, but that just shows you how much AMD really extends the life of Zen 4. And Zen 4 has been out for quite some time already. but they're still pushing the Ryzen 3 5100, and it's kind of weird when you see when you see them kind of reproducing some of these processors. Like Intel recently, they reproduced one of their 11th gen processors, which was kind of odd. It might have been, yeah, it was the 11th gen processor, which was kind of odd too. So, but they are producing it, that they still do exist, and if you really want them, you can get them. But currently, there's not really any real push on this. I don't think it's going to be really for anyone in the US side, but they are saying that it's not really launched worldwide, which makes sense, and it's going to be only in specific regions. So, at first, apparently, they were spotted on Gigabyte's website, and it belonged to the Cezanne family, and it was only a glimpse of some of the specifications originally. But apparently, this processor does exist. So for anyone that is looking for like a 5100 on their board, it can happen. And this was is exactly what I mean, in fact. So when you take a look at these numbers here, when you take a look at, say, the 5700 GE, which is one of their like higher core count processors compared down to the Ryzen 3 5100s, should go 550 to 650. I agree that they should be a bit more competitive, but you know what? I'm going to bring up another topic really shortly about like when we get into the handheld side. The fact that the Ryzen 3 5100, it's 4 cores, 8 threads, and it's 3.8 gigahertz over 4.2 at boost over the 4 count of the 5300, which was the one I just mentioned, at 4 gigahertz at 4.2 gigahertz. So it's almost like, what is the point of this? But speaking on Tacoma's behalf, I do have to say that there are a lot of handhelds being released. I don't know what everybody's feelings are about it, especially when it comes to the PC handheld space. When it comes to currently, you do have the MSI third reiteration, which is their MSI AI, what's it called? But it has a Z2 Extreme in there because they ended up getting rid of Intel after having their Media Lake in their second gen. So MSI has theirs out, so I can't really say like how their side is, but theirs I feel is going to certainly be one of the more competitive priced ones, because ASUS hasn't really officially announced it yet. We're getting pretty close to October. They haven't announced the Zen. We definitely know the Z2 Extreme is going to be in the new Xbox LIX, and when they release it, the price is going to be expected around that $900 to $1,000 range. Reason being, it has really decent specs too, has up to 24 gigabytes of DDR5. It has 1 terabyte. It still has like a lot of most of the same items from, I could say, from the LIX, besides the Z2 Extreme. Now the Z2 Extreme, again, it's the new Phoenix, which is going to be a lot stronger compared to the original, and I'm curious about how the benchmarks are. But originally, that's what the price is supposed to compete, or the rumored pricing is around like $900 to $1,000 for the Xbox LIX. But when it comes to the other ones, such as Lenovo has theirs is also a Z2 Extreme, but theirs is pushing closer to like $1,300 to $1,400. And then there is one specific one, and this is the one I really want to bring up to you guys, because I don't know if you guys seen it, and it's quite interesting, is the GPD Win 5. The GPD Win 5 is quite a costly machine, but it actually has like a real Ryzen 7 processor in there. And this processor that it has, it's like up to $2,400 for this handheld, like $2,500. It does come with a keyboard and everything. It better come with a keyboard for that price, but $2,500. It comes with I think it's the 395. it's either or the 375. I have to look up the GPT Win 5 to give you the exact specs. But apparently, it's an amazing console. It's an amazing handheld PC gaming device. But at that price point, it's hard to justify spending $2,500 on a portable PC where you know the battery life isn't going to be as significant. And more than likely, if you end up gaming or playing on a gaming PC, more than likely you're going to just want to play it when you're home anyway. But this is it right here. I'll show it to you guys. And this is at the GPT Win 5. It's actually out of stock, so it is selling. There is a demand for it here. So let's see, right here. This is it, the GPT Win 5. The AI Max 385, that's what it was. And it comes with DDR5X, and it does have up to 4 terabytes. That's quite a bit that's in there. Kind of gives you the feel of almost like a, you know what it kind of gives you a feel of? Almost like a PS Vita, the way it looks like, right? If you take a look at it, but it's going to be much larger than this. It's definitely going to be a lot larger. And let me see. I want to show you guys how the keyboard's like. Here's the actual, I think this must be like a power supply. So you have expandable storage in there. You can put a micro SD. And it has up to a 2-year warranty, so it's pretty decent. But this device is about that $2,500 range. The release date for this is the 25th of November of 2025, which is actually really soon. I'm curious to see if ASUS will continue with their release. The way we can find out certainly is we can go on Best Buy to see if they will continue with their Ally X Xbox Edition release, because I am curious about that, because we still haven't heard anything from it, from ASUS. Let me see, go back down here. It's like a Steam Deck, but the Rolls-Royce edition, practically. It's kind of insane. Because it's like, but it's, people are paying for it, so it's something people are looking for sure. Let's see. Okay, so far, I'm going to share the Best Buy site with you guys here, just to give you an idea of what it's looking like. And let me go here. So it's looking like this. This is what they currently have. This is the original ROG Ally X. More than likely, you can expect that to drop down in price. So if anyone is in the market for a handheld PC gaming device, I would just wait. I want to go for the ROG Ally X now. I mean, the Xbox One, yeah, but that's coming soon. They do have the Legion Go 2, which is they do currently have that on sale. But it seems that the internet's kind of acting just a bit slow here. Let me try to refresh it just a bit here. Maybe they make also a... you know what? If they built a wood edition, that would be a hot commodity there. You know how many people would go after that thing? especially if it's termite proof or termite free. Legion. So the Legion Go 2, Xbox Ally X 7-inch. They have the, let's see, here's the AIA2 VM. That was like practically like their failed handheld. It was decent, but the thing was, it just didn't give the expectations when it comes to the gaming side. This one actually had Meteor Lake in it. But it's crazy. They don't have any release date on it yet. So they're still kind of holding back on it. Legion Go. This is the original claw, which we've tested before up against the Ally, just the original Ally. Where do you buy your games? Well, most of the time I end up buying my games. Like, I'll get them off of something like, most of the time I get them on Steam, like if they're on sale. If they're not on sale, then I'll end up getting it off of like Green Man Gaming's like a good one. And CD Keys is also good too. And they have some like really good deals if you're looking for a very specific game. Like this is CD Keys here. And for example, right now they got Borderlands 4. It's still pretty high priced, $57. So it's like 18% off. I forgot like the original price is 70. But man, it still blows my mind that they still were going to demand $80 for this game, which is quite insane, right? But you know what the main reason is, like why I would want to get this game, is because if I got this game, this is a great game to really benchmark your GPU. If you want to know what your GPU is made of, Borderlands 4 is definitely got to be on the list. Yeah. Pre-order, yeah. I know, it doesn't make sense, right? Even though it's out, it's like, it's on pre-order. Silent. I'll look it up now. Yeah, pre-order. It's 40% off. It can't be 40% off. There's no way they charge $95 for the game. A Green Man Gaming's the other one that's pretty decent, which is this one. So if you try, this one's, all of them link into pretty much into Steam. Here's a decent one. This one's like 50. It says pre-purchase too. The game's already out. No, I'm not getting two of them. Borderlands 4 FPS. Absolutely. You can even check it out actually on Takuma's page. He actually has it with the 5090 with combined with a 9950 X3D. I'm from 1925. What's this say? Continue. Okay, so it's like $51 if you pre-purchase it, but it should be out, right? I think it's out already. Just like what Takuma said. I know it's out because I was just talking to somebody that was playing it. And they said they liked the vibe of the game. But what's the demands on it? Oh, on the Best Buy site? Oh, really? See, the problem with Best Buy is that they're kind of out of date when it comes to like certain subjects, such as this. They're like, this is one of the reasons why they kind of fall behind in the U.S. So the demands for this game, if you get this game, what's the requirements here? So if you get Silent Hill, I'm just curious because, especially with the current controversy that's going on with it now, it's recommending that you have a Windows 11 64-bit, so up to a AMD Ryzen 5 5500. See, like AMD wants to sell the Ryzen 5 5100, which makes no sense. You can't even play Silent Hill if you wanted to. I've only used Steam, but I wanted to know if those... Yeah, I can tell you those two certainly can be trusted. I use them all the time, which is Green Man Gaming and CD Keys. I won't recommend anything sketchy. I'll tell you that. There's a lot more sketchy stuff out there. 16 gigabytes of RAM. So it recommends the minimum of a RTX 2080 or a RX 6800 XT, 50 gigabytes of space at least, and a, let's see, version sound card. It's weird how they mention up a sound card. Windows compatible audio device. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything that you need for Silent Hill F. So that's what it's recommending for that game. But yeah, this site certainly can be trusted. Green Man Gaming and CD Keys are two good websites, I gotta say, if you're looking for them. So if anyone's just recommends, I know it's insane, right? RTX, because now RTX 2080 I think is like the minimal GPU everyone has to have now, because they're going to stop updating the GTX 1060s, the GTX, like all that whole series, the whole GTX line is like shut down now almost. Because any more of these driver updates are not going to focus on them anymore. It's all RTX cards. So the thing is, like when it comes to that, like when it comes to hardware, if you don't have a current RTX card, or if you don't have a 6000 Radeon cards now, like the 6000 series, then it's like almost like you're practically out of date. And it's crazy to think, because it's like that's just how fast the technology kind of flies by. Because when you think about it, the 2060 or 2070, like if you were to think about like when it was released, the 2080, it is a wild card to pick though. The 2080 was released what, 2019? So it's about like almost like a 6-year-old card. Yeah, like about 6 years. Like a 6-year-old card. So that's how far back they're going now. But you look at a game that's actually decently optimized, and you look at a game like something that actually used Unreal Engine 5, which was decent and played still well. What's your predictions for CES? New CPUs? We'll see new CPUs for sure, I think. Well, mostly we'll see them from the Intel side. And when we see AMD, I'm predicting that we'll see a roadmap more than anything. I don't think we'll actually see them there. If they did, it would be a surprise, especially because they already unveiled the 9800X3D, just like last December. And now this year they got the 9600X3D, which should be releasing like sometime in November, I would think. And then I could see January they would have a timeline for AMD to release the 10,000 series chipsets or processors, and they would more than likely release it. It's possible, maybe as early as March, I can see. But if they don't, I expect more of a roadmap, and they won't release it till like fall time, like Q3 of 26 maybe. But we have good old obsolete GTX 1030 from I know, but yeah, there is people still purchasing them too, which is the wild part. Like as I was saying, Expedition 33 that uses Unreal Engine 5, optimized really well though. Let's see, Expedition right here. We'll take a look at it and we'll see what the requirements are for the game. Now, if anyone knows out there, this game came out earlier this year. It wasn't expensive. It's still actually at $39. I think that was the original price, but for some reason they haven't marked down the $39, which was always the price for Expedition 33. And let's see. If we go back here, you can see it. It's minimum requirements for it is Windows 10. So they say you can play it on Windows 10. It also says that you need at least an 8700K or a 1600X, 8 gigabytes of RAM, a GTX 1660. There you go. There it is. And the RX 5600 XT. So you just still can play like with not the greatest GPUs, but yeah, it can work. And it does require the X12. A new NVIDIA flag, that's a great question, Vero, because I gotta say, like when it comes to NVIDIA, I really honestly don't think they're focused on the gamer aspect right now. I think they're more focused on the AI side, because I know CES last year, or earlier this year, I should say. Earlier this year, when they had CES, they were focused on the whole RTX release. But because that's already out and that's going to be like the best card as it is currently, I don't see them coming out with the supers just quite yet. Sure, there's a market for it, but I don't think they'll unleash the supers until they do the GTC Summit, which is going to end up being in March. And I would expect the supers to be announced then. Now, because usually they honestly don't really announce RTX cards that often when it comes to CES. Yeah, yes. Sometimes they'll announce like the supers and everything, but if they do, I think for sure this year they're gonna wait till the GTC Summit to announce it, and when they do, it's going to not be quite out at the time everyone expects it to, and more than likely, if you were to wait, like say for a super series like an RTX 5080 Super, I would say it's probably going to be towards the end of 2026. Now, if they're going to touch the 5090 side, I highly doubt it. 5090 is already like enough as it is. They already compared a card that's like a 5090 with up to 96 gigabytes in there, which is quite insane for a card. But that's like more of their AI architecture chips or GPUs, and they use that to measure, I think it was Monster Hunter Wilds, and the numbers were not that different. So if you're looking for the GPU, if you're looking to purchase the RTX 5090, I'd say you're going to purchase the best as it is already. Unless you're just looking for a gamer-centric one and you're waiting for a 5080 Super, which could also be understandable. All right, Takuma. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciated you coming in. Yes, I will see you on Saturday, Takuma. Hopefully that helped you out with your question there, Vero. Hopefully that kind of gives you an indication. Anybody, if you're just joining into this stream, we talk about PCs and hardware. You can feel free to ask about your PC builds. If you're thinking of doing a PC build, it's certainly a great time to do it. It's never a bad time to do a PC build, especially if you want to get out the whole console race, which means that there's a lot of things that are going on the console side, meaning that I'm hearing things that the new Xbox could be as much as $1,000, which is pretty insane. You can certainly build a PC for a really decent PC for easily like say like a high-end type of PC, but not super high-end. You could easily spend like $1,500 and you'll be good. You don't ever have to pay for Xbox or Game Pass ever again. Yeah, no problem, Vero. I'm glad that certainly helped you. But hopefully, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I certainly will answer them. Let me see. Refresh that. But so the questions are. Let me go here real quick, guys. I apologize. I'm just double checking. That's interesting. Huh. Just double checking something. So check out the Antux Flux Pro Noctua Edition. I'll be buying it for my PC build. Sure, certainly. Let's go check it out. Let's see. Antux Flux Pro. And we'll be flipping it over to the browser side. Let's give it just a moment here. We can exit out of that one. There we go. Perfect. Oh. And let me just adjust this real quick, guys. Right there. Perfect. Probably good right there. All right. So this is the. No, it's a pretty decent case, I gotta say. Which color are you thinking of getting? Is it? Are you thinking of doing an all black build, or are you gonna go all whites? Because that would be pretty dope, especially if you go for that whole like Ice Edition when it comes to Gigabyte. I do like how it has the thermostat right there on the bottom side. Let's take a look. See, I do like that. Like the digital temperature where you're able to check it. Oh, Noctua Edition. Gotcha. Let me go back here. Oh. me see. Trying to find it now. Oh, they call it the dead silent. If you do that, I'm telling you, these Noctua fans, they are just like wonderful. Intex. Apparently, no, that's not it. But that's it. But we're trying to get the store. Let's see, Antec Flux Pro. Shopping. It must be this one. The Flux Pro, combination wood, steel, multi-directional 12. I don't think this is it either. I know this was pretty dope though when they were at Computex. They had that Noctua X. Where is it? While I find it, let me see. It's probably just gonna take me a second. It's probably the, let me see, Flux case. Ah, that's why. Yeah, it's crazy. Even though it's not out yet. Oh, okay. I see some people have it. But here it is. I see, like, I saw an Instagram post of it. Like, yeah, let me try going to images. There you go. There we go. So let me go back here. That's, yeah, right here. It's crazy too, because I remember going to the display for Computex of it earlier in the year. That's pretty dope though. Like if they, I remember seeing this in fact. It's crazy how that didn't come out yet, but I remember they had this out, like, this was in January. But if they come out with it, you know how sweet that would be. Like, having something like this. That's going to be dead silent. That is a nice case, though. Are you thinking of doing, like, all Noctua everything? Like, Noctua CPU cooler and everything, too? They have their AIO, which we just saw, in fact. It was right here. This is really interesting because this is like something Noctua doesn't usually do. And the crazy part is they never touched on like RGBs or nothing either. They were one of the ones that never went into that. See, their 5080 is nice. Power supply. It's with Seasonic, so it's like all prime stuff. But yeah, that would be sick though. I'm curious to see if they're going to show more of it, like at CES this upcoming year. Because I'm not sure if they released their AIO yet. I don't think they have either. But yeah, if you do that PC case build on that, that'll be dope for sure. You should definitely do it. Especially if you have if you're going with the RTX 5090 gigabyte Ors Master, you're probably going to end up getting the black one, I bet, if you end up getting it. Which is the one I currently have. Again, it's really nice. You'll definitely love it, especially how silent it is. Let's see. HBM4. And that's something I had to bring up too. Hopefully, did you end up getting like the processor and everything already, Vera? Like, because I know that was on sale. Qualcomm, I mentioned that whole aspect, I remember. Oh, that's another thing too. Like, if anybody is interested in getting Intel GPUs, they're actually coming out with the whole second generation of XeSS2, which is pretty crazy. XeSS2, it's supposed to have be like Intel's version of super sampling, and as everyone already knows, like of XeSS. So, for them to release that, it's supposed to be like their version of frame generation. I would love to see like if they come out with some future models of video cards. I could see if Intel really pushes it, especially if everyone kind of takes their foot off the pedal. But one of the things that I would expect, I have to say, for upcoming in CES, I am hoping to see AMD release their high-end GPU. I have a pretty good feeling that they will, but I don't think they're going to have it immediately on sale. I think it will involve RDNA 5 and everything, but I think it's going to end up being pushed out for like later in the year. I think it's going to end up being not later this year, but later in 2026 to be able to get that card. I think, again, AMD will show a roadmap and have good indications, maybe tease it, and but that's about it. I don't think we'll see any like major changes, if anything. I would say that would probably be the biggest impact in the show, if anything. That and probably the Ryzen 10,000 series chipsets or processors once they mention it. So, now I'm thinking of the 9800X3D. That's a good one to get. 9800X3D will definitely fulfill your needs. And I'm assuming the 9800X3D, I remember you said originally you wanted to focus on the whole gaming aspect of it, right? And the PSU, I'm looking at the FSP 1650. That's actually a good one. I know exactly which one that one is. They're one of the top ones, actually. I recommend them, and Seasonic is really good. Those are like my top ones to definitely get. But the one he's talking about, if anyone doesn't know or wants to see what he's talking about, it's going to be this one right here, which is, let's see, right here. The Hydro PTM Pro ATX 3.1. Now these are really power efficient. Again, efficiency's up to 92%, typical load. So this is definitely a platinum power supply. And Eco fanless fan control switch, quiet and long lasting 135mm FDB fan. So the B850 is fine for if it, oh yeah, the B850 will work. X870, no. Yeah, not for gaming. So you're thinking of the B850 ASUS Strix. That's a good one. I highly recommend if you go B850. Yeah, the Strix is a decent one. That they have the F Gaming. That's pretty good too. F Gaming's good. E Gaming is more X870, but I think the F Gaming is also B850. If not, it might also be X870, but on the lower side. But if you're thinking the ASUS Strix, that's actually a decent one. The tough motherboards, I wouldn't suggest that, like for something like a 5090. But I think you made a very clear decision on the type of motherboard you certainly picked out. I'd say that's definitely a decent one. But this is a great power supply to definitely pick out. Now I'll show you the motherboard actually. ASUS F Gaming. Our heart wants the Seasonic Noctua edition, but it's 600. Yeah, honestly, I'd say it doesn't matter about it because when it comes to the Noctua's power supply, it's beautiful. It's definitely a beautiful power supply and it's great, but it's going to be more than likely hidden anyway. You're not going to see it, and most power supplies are pretty silent already, so you don't really hear any power supplies. Not really often. It's not something you would hear. But yeah, this is it, the F Gaming type, the ASUS ROG Strix F Gaming. So this was probably the same one you're thinking of, I bet, right? Because this one is Currently at 254. And these are actually great motherboards too. It's the e-gaming where it's a bit more because it's the X870E version, and this would definitely fulfill your needs, especially if you're just using it for gaming. Has the whole Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, I think it is on this one. And let's see specs. Now, let's see. Really doesn't give you too much info here, but it gives you that. It lets you know it does have USB-A, 3.2, USB-C, and it does have USB 2. Now the gigabit speed when it comes to the internet, if I'm not mistaken, it should be 5. Let me just check it. Let me check on their official website here. Nope, not this one. AMD 850. Now right here, let me see. Supports up to 256, of course. The most right here. So a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connection, but more than likely you'll probably end up being satisfied with that. It also has Wi-Fi 7, supports up to 5.4. Which RAM? I would recommend getting like I would say at least I'd say like the new standard is really like 32 gigabytes, and that's like the minimum. If you were to pick out RAM, I would say at least I would say between G-Skill, Corsair, they all use the same dies. So it doesn't matter if you get either one, you want to get the cheaper one. If you care about your RGBs and everything, you care about your programming for it, I would say it's better to get something like Corsair, because then Corsair has the better RGBs. But if you don't really care for RGBs like that, you just care more about the performance side, go with G-Skill. And I would say also another one that's crossed my mind is Kingston. Kingston's also pretty decent too when it comes to their RAM. So I would recommend those 3 for sure. I'll actually show you, in fact. Like if you were to go, like for example, G-Skill's Trident, right? You want to get at least 6400 megahertz and Expo. So something like this. Tarkov recommends 64. Oh, really? 64 is like a new limit. I'm saying this is like the minimum. You could go 64 if you can, but it's again on your budget. Like for example, if we see this one, it's at $127.99. You go 64, you pay a little bit more, which is going to be $264. So if you're comfortable spending a bit more, you can. It's like $100 more, but 32 gigabytes is like the minimum for anyone to get. Another one you could also get is the 48 gigabytes, which is what I personally liked. If you want to get the in-between option, this is also a good choice to go. And these are definitely good to go with too. Now, it doesn't matter when it comes. Now, an important factor too you want to look at too is latency, because the latency is at CL32 for this one. You want to try to get anything around like CL30 or CL28, because the lower the latency, the better and the quicker the RAM is. So for example, you can get, this one's a decent set here, and you can get it for cheap, which is 125. It's all black. Or you can go for the, let's see what they have on the 64 gigabyte side. They have silver, black with RGB. So like something like this. This one's a decent one for you, especially for an October build. 226, 64 gigabytes. And this is also CL30. And this would certainly fit your needs. Yes. CL30 is like the recommended. Unless you like to like mess like with timings and everything, then it's good to mess with something like the CL, like going down to like CL32, and then you have a bit more flexibility on the type of memory you have. But currently, it seems like they're kind of limited in their selection here. I'm curious what they have in their shop. And in their shop, here goes their best sellers. But usually, the ones you want to get are the Trident Z5s, which was the ones we were just looking at earlier. I've been told not to go below 10 real world. Yeah, it's not necessary. It's certainly not necessary. And I'll tell you what, though. To be honest, like when it comes to speed, like if you're just like using it for gaming wise, you're not trying to overclock, you're not trying to break records and everything. I feel that getting CL32 isn't going to be all that terrible. Even if you go up a little bit higher to CL36, you can get it. Because again, you're not trying to break a record or anything if you can't find any. But it would be more recommended to go at least like CL30 at 6,000 megahertz, because the reason why that number is important is because you hit AMD's Infinity Cache, and the Infinity Cache is what you want to take advantage of. So if you do go with 6,000 megahertz and you get CL30, that's like the magic number for it. But let me see. But hopefully that certainly answered your question there on that aspect when it comes to the RAM side. I hope that, I feel like the connection's not that great. But I think I'm going to end the stream here. But I thank everybody for coming into the stream today. And it was really good to see you, Vero. I'm glad you came in. I'm glad that everybody did come in. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask on Discord. I forgot to mention that to everyone. I do have a Discord channel. It's down in the description box. And also check out the description box if you're interested in any of the PC hardware, as I do also have it listed down below. And I thank you guys so much for watching the stream. And hopefully I see you guys on Saturday.